Yeah. Living in the bush. First of all, was you born in the bush? What street?
I was born in Mill Lane, 66 Mill Lane.
A terraced house, was it?
Yeah, there were 6 houses, and they used to run along like that into Borneo Street. And we used to have the gardens and the pigsty down that side. And then right opposite where our Flossie's living today, that was my father's garden. And he used to have fowl and ducks there.
So you're self-supporting for food, more or less.
Yes. And our Ted, he bought, when one of my kiddies was bad, and they kept bringing everything up. And he said to me, he says, I'm going to get a goat. I said, you're never going to keep a goat down there, Darky.
Oh, for goat milk, but you.
He says, I am. He said, we'll try the goat milk on her. And he kept a goat. And that was when my children, my 2 girls, they would be about 3 or 4.
What did your father do? What's for a living?
My father was a tube maker at the Alma Tube Works.
Oh, up in Pleck Road.
On the Pleck Road.
What hours did he work? Long hours?
Oh, you telling me. Except when they was on strike. And when they was on strike, it was murder.
I bet you had a job.
And yet, I mean, he was a union man. He used to collect the union, and Saturday night you couldn't breathe. He was down the table with his books.
Oh, all the accounts.
Oh, my God, you don't breathe while he was doing them, kid. I mean, you couldn't have the old gramophone on.
Which was your only source of entertainment?
Entertainment then, yes.
A piano, got a piano?
No. Only an old gramophone, and it got...
Cylinder record?
Oh, the records on. Mind you, we all had to be in bed at 7 o'clock.
Every night?
Every night. Saturday night, Sunday night and everything. You could say my mother after it had a tea. I'd get the big bath, say, come on, have your bath, off to bed. We was all in bed at 7 o'clock. And up till I was married, I'd got to be in bed at 10.
At what age was that, about 20?
What? I had a good hiding when I was 20, Jack.
For not getting in at the right time?
Yes. Because I'd got to be in at 9 o'clock, and it was 9:45 when I went in. I had a damn good hiding of my father. And that was the only one I ever remember having. But before that, I nearly had one. And you know how they used to get these trips up from the factories for a day out? Well, I went with the factory to Blackpool. Well, you know, in them days, we used to get back about 3:30, 4 o'clock in the morning. Well, Dick come and met me from the station.
He was courting then?
Yes, was courting then. He come and met me from the station, brought me a poem, and we got a yard as I've got to come up to the front door. And I left him at the bottom, and I said I'd be all right. Well, he stood there and he watched me. Well, when I knocked the door to go in, my father fled at me. And I can see my mother to this day come down the stairs, because the stairs was in the front room. Come down the stairs, and I laid out on him. I said, you silly old bugger, you. I said, I've told you not to stop on 4. It'd be late. And before he got time to breathe, mate, he shook him. I says, come on here. I said, let's have lesson. He says, we know where it was. We knew what time I was coming back. And anyway, he went into the living room and he made me a drink. And he says, you better go in bed with your mother, because I used to sleep with my grandma. I says, you better go and get in bed with your mother then. And I did. I sort of had a damn good outing that night. I got slaughtered. But when my mother grabbed him and laid out on him, of course, he
Shook him.
shook
Oh,
him.
yes.
Shook him. But just before I was married, I went up the yard about 9:30, and I got up to there. I was 9 o'clock short time, and I'll have you here as long as you're under my roof.
It probably wouldn't have dawned on him, really, sisters. You was growing up.
What?
Which was typical Victorian fashion.
It was very strict. It was.
And did you give your mother much row, like? Did she have a bit of freedom? She was under the hammer.
My mother never left one. Where my mother was, there was one of her children. I never, you know what I mean. I never sort of said, well, I'm going out for an hour.
You was never left, was you, in
No.
that days, children? That applied to most families.
Well, I think it was then, yes. Because in them days, like there were 6 of us. But if one was going out, and there were 6 of us, if my mother was going to take 2 with us, one of the neighbours had had the others while we were going. While my mother was going.
Yeah.
Oh, yes. It was never left around the streets. No, never.
But your dad always kept a regular job, was he? Okay, but
I say kept a steady job up till he retired. Well, then when he retired, he got a little job lowing the lawns up on the tennis courts at the back of the Arboretum. I don't know whether they're still there.
yes.
Well, that's where he used to mow the lawns there.
Part-time job on the parks, would you
On
say?
the,
Yeah.
it wasn't actually belonging to the park. It was a private section, but it come at the back of the Arboretum. In one of them big houses there.
I think it was where the Calendry Club is now, up the top.
Well, he used to mow the lawns there and trim the borders.
But then some of you would be at work then.
Oh, yes, we were married then.
What about going to school? Which you went to Walsall?
I went all the way through the Butch School. Miss Grimley was my head teacher in the infants. Miss Thomas was the head teacher in the senior girls' school. And Mr. Larkin was over the boys' school. It was Daddy Larkin over the lads' school, Miss Grimley over the infant school, and Argo Thomas over the girls' school. Because if you notice the Butch School, it's got girls, infants and boys.
That's it. Still there today.
Yes, it's still there today.
And by the way, was there a tower on the school then at the time? Can't you remember that? Birdwood's got a photograph of the tower on as his dad took. And that took the tower off, haven't they, by that one side now.
No,
Well, you probably wouldn't remember that.
don't remember. I remember the old Stoke Hole, when we used to be heated by coke fire. Because I used to go and stoke up many a time from Mr. Venables.
Do the stoking.
What? I used to go down with Mr. Venables and he used to let me stoke it up.
That's the caretaker.
Yeah? Mr. Venables, his name was.
Well, I thought you'd let the lads do it, not a girl.
No, I wanted to go. And I used to fetch all the clean laundry and everything, you know, the towels for the teachers and the tea towels for the washing up and all that. I used to fetch them. And
We're from the laundry.
now, from the caretaker's house.
Oh, his wife would do the lawn.
Yes, Mrs. Venables used to do all that.
Wasn't that the first house in Williams?
Yes.
Was it? And it used to die.
Right where it is today.
It's always been the caretaker's house.
Yes, always been a caretaker's house, that has. Oh, when I first started school, we were in the infants, we used to do plasticine and scribbling, if that's what you call it. Well, then, we started doing letters, you know, one A, B, C, D in a notebook. Never had books like that today. But on the infant side, there was never kept. But when we went into the big school, we used to have exercise books. And of course, we had like different teachers then for each class. Well, then, first thing we had to do was to assemble for assembly. Well, then we'd display for our classes.
Did you have an inspection as well before you went in?
We had a nurse every month to look at our heads, see if it got lousy. And we used to have a doctor every 6 months, I think it was, for examination. That's right, every 6 months, I think he used to come. And they used to give me a card to take home to our mothers to tell them that we was going to be examined on such and such a day.
Yes.
Now, but when the nurse come, if I give you a note and you've got nits, you'd get them for twice. And after that twice, you've got to have your hair cut. Whether you liked it or lumped it, there was no mucking about. You've got to have it cut.
Where'd they do that at school?
At school. Yes.
Did the barber come round to school then to do it?
The nurse used to cut it through there and there. Oh, yes.
Going back to when you said the infants there, now, was the infants up in the school by St Mark's? You know, by the church? Because there was a schoolroom there, wasn't there, by the church?
In the church, separate all that was.
That was separate.
That was nothing to do with the Butch school.
Well, I always thought that might have been
No.
Butch.
You know where you go over come down William Street. You come down William Street, if you look up there, there's the boys.
Yes. That was the boys' side, and then
Well,
go down
lower, and it's got infants. And you go down to the next one before you come up Station Street, and that's girls.
That's the girl.
Yeah. Mind you, they've altered it a hell of a lot now.
Yeah. Oh, the St Mark's school then, that was always separate school.
Oh yes, that was a different schooling altogether, that was.
You never went there for anything?
No. I'm saying no.
You'd go for services sometime?
Yes. And Aunt Mary and Ray, they had their reception up there.
Yes.
Just a church.
In later years.
It was like the church school, that was.
And by the way, did they, at the Butts, because you was at school in the Butts round about just after the war, was you, by the World War One?
After World War One.
Yeah. Was you allowed to mix girls and boys in the
Well, not to say mix. You know what I mean? We wasn't a mixed class. But when you went out, the boys and girls all went together to play in the playground.
Yes. But you kept girls and boys together separate.
When you came back into the school, your girls would be with their teacher and the boys would be with their teacher.
Did any of them make any progress, like to grammar school or anywhere?
Oh yes, one and two of them went to high school from the Wood School. Yes. I'll go as far as to tell you that I married for technical college from the Wood School.
Oh, so the standard of teaching was good?
Oh, it was. Better than today. What? It was only because I didn't want to go. But I went at the finish. But Betty went to Chuckray.
She started in the infants at Buxton,
But,
then moved on.
well, then she moved to Chuckray. Mary started at the Butts and she went to Chuckray because she wouldn't go to technical college. She didn't want to go. But at the finished, they persuaded her at Chuckray School to go to the technical college. And that's where there's got the head from.
And did you end your life at school? Was it all?
Oh, yes. So I enjoyed every minute of it.
Well, you haven't got four.
Master. I had the tours a time or two. I don't care who knows it.
I think everybody did it, they admitted it.
I had the tours a time or two. It didn't do me no harm. No, don't. And I always remember on one occasion, our Lil, that's the one that was next to me, she couldn't say Christopher Columbus. Well, it was a summer night. We had to go to bed just the same. Anyway, we went.
You went to bed on a summer's night when the sun...
Yes, a summer's night. Don't matter what. All right, so sunshine, you've got to go to bed. You've got to be upstairs at 7 o'clock. Well, we went up. Well, we was trying to get our Lil to do some writing and say Christopher Columbus. Well, I could not say Christopher Columbus. Well, I asked our Frost to say it, and I couldn't. So, of course, I turned her arm up like that and smacked her there. Never thought no more on it. No. Anyhow, we went to school next morning. Wrote as ribbons. Went home dinner time to me dinner. My mother turned round to me and said, "What was you playing at last night?" I said, "We was playing schools." And you can tell how big our class was. It got her sitting on the chair, on the table. I said, "Look at this." I said, "Oh, what have you done?" I said, "Ain't what I have done, it's what you have to have done."
When you tapped her elbow then, you must have...
It's not come out on the rash. I had to go to the clinic next morning, that bandaged it from it.
It must have been a nerve rash or something, I should think.
Must have been. But I had a good arm for that.
But could you still say Christopher Columbus?
I don't know, I never asked him much after. But I enjoyed every moment time to go on. And I had to get up in the morning.
What time? About 6 o'clock?
Yeah, I had to be up early in the morning.
And help your mother?
Because my mother went out to work. You know, my mother went cleaning in the morning. Come on, the dinner.
Cleaning pubs or factories or something?
No, our own houses.
Oh, houses, yes.
And then I used to go back again of afternoon and come back at 5 o'clock.
This is all to earn a few extra coins to keep the house going.
Keep us going, yeah. And many a time during the First World War, I got up in the morning and took my ration book and went to Cooper's in Stafford Street. And I've stood there and I've looked at the clock and I've worried myself stiff because it's been about 10 to 9 and my mother ain't come down to me to take me off.
Oh, to take your place?
Bring me my lunch so as I could get to school. But they wouldn't do today, Jack. No.
This is before the ration books, was it? Because...
No, it was all the ration books was on.
And you still had to queue?
Yes, I had to queue because I wanted some... Well done. Now I've got to get some dripping out the butter and margarine.
I believe a lot of children would be in the queue though, wouldn't they? You know, been in the
Used to wait for our mothers to come down. They used to bring our lunches. They give you the lunch in one hand, you give the ration book in the other, and you'd run up to school and they'd stand in the queue in your place.
But what would be your lunch with a dripping?
I don't know. Sometimes it used to be a piece of jam for a change. Now they're born today, Jack, and I'm bloody grumbling.
It amuses me. They all say they had either dripping or jam most of the day. Then had one good meal at night.
Oh,
The kids was always fit and healthy, wasn't they?
we always had a good dinner time.
Yeah, dinner time, obviously.
My mother always read to make me a damn good dinner time. And there was no tins about it.
It was all like carrots, parsnips,
yes,
and
all fresh
fresh
stuff. Yes. Sometimes I'd put the meat in the oven and leave it simmering while I went to a job. And when I got home, there'd be a note on the table. Put the carrots and parsnips and onions in the stew jar.
And you had to do it.
Oh,
Yes, you
no question about doing it, Jack. It was done. Mother, if she was here today, she could tell you, and anybody that knows me in the bunts, my mother always said she never knew what it was to get up without a cup of tea till the day I left home.
That's nice.
Always read my mother to have a cup of tea. And when I was big with our Betty, I used to go just the same, put the old boiler on a Monday, and I'd, like when I finished work altogether, and now I used to put a light to it and get that going first, and then I'd put the kettle on the old black gas stove, make my mother a cup of tea, take my mother a cup of tea. And we had to go outside to the tap then and the toilet.
Oh, it was down the bottom of the yard?
It was in the middle of the yard.
Shared with other people?
There 6 of us.
And were you washing as well? All the washing as well as you did down?
We had to fill the boiler out the tap.
Out of the tap, yeah.
Yes.
You did it in our own back?
But we done it in our own back
scullery.
Yeah. Part, yes. But that was across the yard. Like it'd be the house and that'd be the scullery. But it was our own. And that's where we used to have the tin bath to have a bath. Because we had to, no. Just find out myself. The boiler fire. The boiler fire kept that place warm.
Oh, I see.
You'd open the boiler fire if it was really hot. But if not, you'd shut the door up and have a bath and come out.
So you had your bath in the scullery then?
Yes.
In the tin bath out of the boiler?
It was only when it was really very bad, you know, as the snow was deep, you know, as you couldn't sort of get across. As my mother used to have this 6-foot tin bath.
Yeah.
And of course, my mother always insisted the lads had carried the water across. And they used to fill the bath for us.
Well, Ed used to bath 2 in a bath, had you, to economise? Or did you have one?
No, only one.
A bath each night?
Oh,
each person?
Bath each. Yes, only one to time.
1 or 2 have told me about that, doing with the kids. I've had 2 or 3 in the bath at once, you know.
Well, I might have done when I was little, but
yeah.
Not as far as I can remember. And we used to have an old barrel. You know, these wooden barrels.
The posh of it.
No, this barrel,
yeah.
And used to be underneath the piping that comes down.
Oh, to collect the rainwater?
Collect the rainwater. Yeah.
Better, purer water, wasn't it?
Oh, yes, it was nicer water.
It did lather well, wouldn't it?
Yes, lather better, same as so. Oh.
What made you dazzle your tired in them days and your washing powders? You've got none, had you?
No,
just ordinary like
Persil.
Rinso and Persil.
Rinso and Persil. The only 2 powders I ever knew. Mind you, get a nice packet for 4pence, the almoner.
Oh, it's right.
Portons, we used to get down good packet.
What about your grite as well, sis? Was it one of the old-fashioned ranges with the
Oh,
black
wow.
lid?
Right, one.
Black lid in the grite?
But,
Oh,
and the stove,
it's not you.
light was there.
The job.
And then we got a reset, you know, and the black stove was there. Well, when you'd finished that, you got to go there.
You had the chimney on fire a few times.
Oh, a few times. Well, my mother couldn't afford the chimney smoke.
Yeah, but you got summers now if if the place got you, didn't you?
Oh, well. Oh, well. Oh, well. And you couldn't be too brass about it. You very, more or less, you'd get, if you knowed it wanted doing, you'd get up really early Sunday morning.
Before it early.
And get, you know, a couple of sheets of paper. But
How did the people get on the neighbours? You was all pretty
we was neighbours, the six of us. Really, mind you, my grandma was one. There was five beside. There was Mrs. Turner, then there was my mother, then there was my grandma, then there was Mrs. Summerfield, Mrs. Bowdler, and Mrs. Wilcox. And we really used to have some damn good times. They'd come up from Worcester way, and they'd come in coach loads. You'd know when they was coming.
What was these relatives?
Yes. And the yard, we all used to fetch the tables out and all your chairs and everything all the way up the yard. And when they got here, they used to come in the coach, they'd get the barrel out and put it on the trestles, put the bottle stuff there. Of course, you've got help with cutting the sandwiches and making a few cakes and...
Well, your children had a good feed, didn't you?
Had a great... We thought it was beautiful. Not today.
I suppose like, if you had a trip anywhere, like a trips or anything, did you go to Sunday school?
Oh, well, when I was... I used to go down the sheds. You know where the railway lines are?
Down Rycroft, yes.
Well, we used to go down there every Thursday night. At 6 o'clock they used to come back. And you'd always get a stick of rock. Somebody would always throw you a stick of rock out over them.
From the trains?
From the trains, yes. You could always say if you was there in the front, you'd get a stick of rock.
This is when they had the excursions to Blackpool?
Yes, to Sutton Park.
Oh, Sutton Park, was it?
Oh, well, pulled on dogs.
Okay, all right, I know it's that was long distance, far away regions, yes.
Sutton Park, they used different schools used to go of a Thursday afternoon.
Oh, it was always on the Thursday.
It was on a Thursday afternoon. That was our half day off from school.
Yeah.
And we used to go down the lines, you know. And you'd always say you was going to have a stick of rock or something thrown out to you.
Oh, that's on the train come down?
Oh, try and come down to Walsall, you'd always get a stick of rock. Yeah.
But that's the only place you went to as a little girl, to Sutton Park?
Oh, yes.
That was the farthest you ever went?
And yes, it was. I went to Sutton Park once and never forgot it. This woman and man come to see me dad. And I'd got two lads. And she said to my mother, she says, do you think your eldest daughter would like to come to Sutton Park with me? I said, we're going from Queen Street School. Church. School. So my mother says, I'll ask her. So anyway, my mother asked me and I says, can I go? So my mother says, yes, you can go. And then I went. When I got down to the station, I couldn't find 'em. And a man come to me and he says, are you waiting for someone, little one? And I said, yes. I says, I can't find my friends that I'm going with for the train.
Yeah.
Anyway, he said, well, this is the train for Queen Street. So he says, if I was you, I'd get on. He said, and then when you get to Sutton Park, you'll probably meet them. Or he says, you can walk along the train and you'll probably find them. Anyway, I got on this train. I'd been more well on my way. And all of a sudden, the train stopped. A kid like I don't know what it had stopped for. And around the next thing I know, the porter got in. And he looked up. No, I still don't grasp what was the matter. But anyhow, he took a statement of these people. Now, while I was there, they said I climbed on the seat. Now, I didn't climb on the seat when I was there, that's right. When I was with them, they said I did not climb on the seat, which I did not. But when I wasn't by them, they said I had climbed on the seat. So the guard put me on the seat, and I still couldn't reach the damn thing.
Was that small, yeah?
Anyway, it went at that. I told my mother what had happened when I got back. And it didn't give me much time to answer. Policeman come. And of course he questioned me and I told him everything. So he said, did you or did you not stand on the seat? I said, I did not stand on the seat. So he says, well, we've interviewed them while you were there, and they said you didn't. But since we've interviewed them, they've said you did. So anyway, they went at that statement. Well, you can tell how big I was, Jack. We got a little piece of ground round our front window like that. And it was always my hobby to keep some flowers in it.
Yes.
And I was turning the soil round when I seen this policeman come up. He don't see my house for dust. I was down the bottom of the garden and my father's garden lying in the rhubarb. That's where I was. And I could see him looking for me. But I don't come out that rhubarb. Anyway, I must have questioned my mother and one thing or another about it. But anyway, I don't shift, I don't care. Anyway, they went. So, it was about a good hour and a half after. I went up. Mother said, where have you been? I said, why? I said, policeman's been after you. I said, I know. I seen him coming up the yard, Mum. So I said, well, where have you been? I said, lying in the rhubarb at the back bottom of my dad's garden. So I says, oh, you silly girl, you. I says, you shouldn't have done that. I said, you get off there and taking me.
You really thought I was going to take you away?
Yes, I did. I did, Jack.
That was how you feared the police in them days.
That is how. Jack, I wouldn't tell you the truth. Do you know I feared the police till after I was married?
Yeah, it doesn't surprise me, that doesn't. That's the way the kids was brought up, to fear them.
Oh, yeah. Dick had come home from work. And he went in the back, which he always does, and wash him. Always used to wash him before he had his tea. Anyway, he'd only just got in, put his pipe. The front door went, and our bet was a baby in arms. I was at 7 Road at the time. Anyway, I answered the door. Oh, when I seen him. next I knowed I was on the settee. Well, I was on the settee. But they told me after I'd gone out on the stairs.
Yeah, just passed out.
Just passed out.
At the front fire of the
Place.
yeah.
And they told me after, because they, of course, they took Dick with them. Well, he'd been delivering meat. And this dog had just bit a child across there in his hands.
Oh, they only wanted him for evidence.
They only wanted him to prove it. But they don't bother me.
I thought he'd been arrested.
Mind you, I'm going to say this, the police are ever so good after. You know, for a week or two they come after, you know, to see if I was all right. But I don't know why. Because I mean, I've never had nothing to do with
That
it.
was the fire and discipline that was in paper.
Oh, yeah.
With the place though, did you ever remember the big copper, Dudley Edwards?
Really good.
Have you ever met him?
No, I've never met him.
But you've seen him?
Oh, I have seen him. I have seen him. My God. Yes.
But round the woods there was always a policeman on patrol.
Oh, always one knocking around on patrol. Oh, yes. And more or less you could tell though, because Daddy Larkin, that was our school's man.
Yeah.
You could always say there was one going to be picked up somewhere.
Oh, I did think one or two, didn't you?
Yes, yeah.
Well, how'd you go on for going for your first job then, sis, at work? Where did you...
The first job at all was in Long Street.
In
This is the
Services.
drug place. And it was £5 a week in the old money. Well, I'd been there for about 8 months. And I went in for a rise and they wouldn't give me one. Well, I went for another job and I went to Alma's in Mill Lane.
Oh, but what was your hours there when you first started? About 8
8 till 6. 8 till
And
6
Saturdays
an
as
hour
well?
dinner.
Saturdays
And
and
8 till 12 on a Saturday.
for £5.
£5 a week. Well, I went to Homer's in Mill Lane and I was there then till I was married.
That was the top of William Street.
Yes, Top Williams.
And that was a leather place.
Yes. Not gloves. Paris's was gloves. I went to Alma's as a leather machinist. And I was a leather machinist till I finished.
What was your work hours at
Alma's.
Alma's? But was it
6, 8 till 12 on Saturday. Unless we done a bit of overtime and it'd be 8 till 4 on Saturday. And that was like near Christmas, you know, when you've got
all
lot
the Christmas rush? Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, wow. I didn't say nothing. I've enjoyed my life. I mean, I've had damn good hidings. I've had the strap, you know. Had a clip of the ears, but I'm none the worse for it, Jack.
What about the butts itself round the backs and all that? Did you ever go round the old part? Well, yeah. Did you remember that? All tumble down.
Each when he camped out,
Who?
Basil H.
Oh, the old tatter.
Him and his brother
They used to live under the cart, hadn't they, or something, had they?
built like a tent affair because I went to move them out the butts. And he said he wasn't going to be moved.
This is when they were knocking the houses
Out
down.
his down, yeah.
And then, so they built a tent, they had the tent on their own time.
Up the road. I ain't seen him for ages.
No, I haven't. I don't know what's happened to him.
Not me.
But he was a real character around the butts of the Basil.
Yes. Mind you, he ain't always been like that.
No, he was a proud man at one time.
He was a smart chap in the
Very
army,
He went in the army, yes.
Yeah. But I didn't.
And that you used to have dogs in them days. He'd all dogs.
Dog. All his life, as I remember, he's had a dog. And when he first was young, his mother used to have a dog. Oh, what? That's a night.
Wasn't that the quarters round Borneo Street and all that? Was that a really posh quarter?
Yes.
Those high class people?
Borneo Street was selected when I lived in Mill Lane. Our houses used to come like that. Well, across there was a gate, you know. Now you could go straight down there, and there was like allotments each side, and right down the bottom was a couple of pigsties that kept pigs in.
Nearly everybody had their own pigs, didn't
Yes. Well, then you had to come round like that, go through a gate there into Borneo Street, but you couldn't go through that gate very often because more or less it was locked. It used to be a beautiful place.
Do you remember what's the name of the chapter named after our street, Flight Lieutenant Webster? You know, he lived somewhere around that area. Have you any recollection?
He used to live in Westbourne Road,
Was it?
I think that's where he come from. I'll tell you, I think you and me, he used to live by Mr. Scales. Andrew Scales is dead now.
He's the chap who won the air race and they named our street Webster Road after him.
Yes, he lived by Mr. Scales, he did. Webster. I'm almost sure that's the.
Do you remember the celebrations they had in the town when he won the race?
Yeah.
Did you go down to the
No,
thing? Do you remember them?
Couldn't remember. I've got too much weight.
What? Yeah.
Oh, but that's the Webster issue, mate. Used to be by Scales in Webster in
Westbourne
Road.
Yeah.
But all round there was money people. One time.
Was there much horse transport round the street with the horses?
Well,
Everything was horse drawn.
the horses, yeah. There used to come a man round with green grocery, Mr. Milner, and he used to bring everything round. Well, many a fight with the key because he's got to the cart first and he's had orange and I ain't. Oh, I do. But Borneo Street, mind you, William Street used to be a lovely street.
Yes, there's some very nice people live there, wasn't there?
Yes, it used to be beautiful down there. I had many happy hour down there.
And Cecil Street as well, wasn't it? It was
We were selected, eh?
lots of
Right,
wasn't there? Lots of
yes. Well, Mr. Stucker down there, Mr. Lantern. They all used to be down at this depot down here.
The Croft, yes.
Now then there's the other one, Mr. Lantern. Lantern.
Do you know Mr. Everton?
That's it.
But did you go down and watch the trains much when you was little?
Yeah.
Watching the engines?
Used to very and walk through where they used to turn them, you know, on that turnstile. Stood many out there watching them.
And you never got into trouble, did you? Just fascinated watching engines?
Oh no, never gone to trouble.
No vandalism, no trouble.
No, never gone to trouble. I dared to go into trouble, Jack.
Otherwise you'd have been called it.
I'll give her one or two beltings as I didn't expect.
When you left school, anyway, did you have any enjoyment like going out as kids, like going to the cinemas or theatres?
Oh, yes.
Did they allow you out to go and enjoy yourself a bit?
My father allowed we out till 8 o'clock when we first left school.
Mm-hmm.
We didn't have much of a day. But if we was going anywhere special, we'd just say to him, Dad, can I go so and so? If you'd done that, you was all right. But you'd still got to be in before 10. 10 o'clock was your limit. Up till I was married. 10 o'clock was my limit. I've left my chap many and many a time at a Majesty's Theatre, and I've run all the way out.
Right.
So my dad wouldn't give me a good hiding. But he could stop talking to me dad till all hours. But not me, I'd got to be in bed.
Yes. So you'd have to go to the first house, wouldn't you?
Yes.
At the first house?
Yes. Well, that's why we used to either go on a Monday or a Thursday, because it was his afternoons off.
Oh, I see.
So, well, he used to come up and it was ready then. But the other nights, of course, I couldn't go out because the shops was open till 9 then. And he'd have to scrub the shop and do the block down and everything. Now, if we went to the fair, before I was going, I got my leg loose. If we was going to the fair, he'd allow we another house, you know. But you've got to tell him.
He always knew where you was.
Oh, he always knew where I was. Oh, yes. Mm-hmm. He'd always make sure of that night. Now, I remember once, and I was at work at the time, and I asked my mother if I could go to a whist drive. And that whist drive was at Blakewell Church. Never forgot it. We went to this whist drive. Well, when we come out, there wasn't a bus to bring me back. So, of course, we had to walk it.
Oh, and it was all country lines then, wasn't it?
It was all country then. There was no times allowances. Well, when I asked my mother reckoned it up on her fingers, because my dad used to do 1 week days and 1 week nights. And I said, now, that'll be on nights, that one. I said, but whatever you do, be in for 10. I said, all right. And around we went. Of course, having to walk back. You out now.
Would you walk down through Cowpole?
Oh, I come round Cowpole. I ran just nowhere. And when we got back, my dad, our Edgar, the one that's up buried from here, he was up the one window, and my mother was up the other bedroom window. Mind what you're doing, mind what you're doing. Your dad's had to come back from away. Well, he knew I wanted. He wouldn't go to bed. It wouldn't matter about him getting up early in the morning. He got to see where you. And the roundhouse went to that, and of course I had a belt. I thought, oh. But he was good in all his ways, but he was very less. That is strict, me dad was. Stricter than my mother.
When some of the shows you say, later on, say when you was...
That used to be 2 nights then.
Yeah.
Like first house and second house. Of course, I used to go on a Monday because it was we could get there first house. So on Monday and Thursday.
Did you have to book in those days, or could you just more or less walk in?
No, we used to book.
You always had to book?
Yes.
Because it was pretty full, wasn't it?
Oh, yes, it was, the Grand Theatre and the Majesty's Theatre. There was the 2 big main theatres in this.
What was the system? You usually booked the way when you came out? The 1 week, or you'd book for next week?
No, he'd come that way and book them before he come and pick me up.
Yes.
So then, of course, when we got down there, we'd go straight in with the tickets. After I'd had a quarter of chocolate bluebird toffees.
Bluebird, that was all right, wasn't it? In them bloody tin boxes.
I used to have a quarter for in the old Monday. And many a time I've had enough for like Monday night, and I've saved others for Thursday night, so they wouldn't have to buy me now. Of course, I never
Boyfriend's treat that was then.
a treat. Oh, well.
Huh.
I mean, no, I never drunk. Both I never drunk and I never smoked. So, well, I don't to do.
Well, there was one or two lovely sweet shops round the town, wasn't there?
Oh,
And I believe they used to do a trade, hadn't they?
There used to be some lovely little sweet shops. But the main one, as we always used to be, was Marshall's in Stafford Street.
Well, for the Roycroft people, that's how
Yes.
it wasn't it, like, yes.
We always reckoned that had got the best sweet. And that you always used to get decent wines, you know. That's why we used to go there. And there used to be two nice sweet shops by the theatres, by the Grand Theatre and Imagine.
You used to go for ice cream as well, over the road from the ground at what's the name? What was the name of it? Charles?
No, I wasn't. I've never been a lover of ice cream. Never. I'll tell you what I had used to have when I come out. 2 pence of roasted potatoes.
Yeah, the machine was always in station.
It was on.
Yeah.
Yes. And a pinch of salt on.
But I've seen people on a winter's night, they'd be gathering around to have a war, wouldn't they?
Yes. I always used to have my 2 pence of roasted potatoes with a pinch of salt in them and eat them coming along.
Oh, Stafford Street.
Yes.
It is true, as most people walk back up from the theatre or the cinema, and they walk just peacefully and out and see what.
You haven't got nothing like you got today. No, well, we were happier then than they are today.
Plus the fact you got some fish and chip shops on the way up as well, haven't you?
But you couldn't afford fish and chips as well.
No.
So,
No, you weren't greedy, was you? No.
2 pence of roasted potatoes. But I mean, if you had fish and chips, then that only cost you about, right, about shillings.
Yeah.
In the old money, that one. And I mean, you'd have enough. What you wanted.
What about such as the, on a Friday night, the faggots and peas night? Have you ever gone down after the faggots
No.
and peas?
No.
There's Wood's been down there a lot.
Yes, my mother always used to make our own faggots.
Oh, sir.
Friday night.
But did you always have them on a Friday?
Always had faggots and peas on a Friday.
You never had anything different?
No, not on a Friday night. That was our treat.
So your stomach know what to expect that night. Yeah.
But my mother made some lovely faggots. Oh, everybody come to my mother's say if we've got any faggots left. Yes, we used to cover them with a kill. And look a damn sight better than some in the shops today. When the best made the oven. And you used to put them in the stove. And was in the oven.
In the old oven on the old brain.
Oh, big oven we got. And then when them was in, you say you've got to get the oven up to cook on. And the brick would be in to put in my bed to warm it for the night.
Oh, for the hot water, but not the hot water.
Before
the hot water bottle.
Got to wrap it up in a head bag and put it in the middle of my bed. Take it out when I went into bed.
So you was routine then, there was always a brick in the oven.
Oh, there's always a brick in the oven.
For each person's bed, like, for
No,
the children,
only like for
the younger
the
people.
younger one. That's something. There was a lot, 3 of us younger ones. But of course, the 2 of us used to share the one bed, and the other one had the other one. Because our house had only got 2 bedrooms. But of course, when we grew up, we had to go into my grandma's. The lads had the bedroom in my mother's, and we girls had the bedroom in my grandma's. And we were there, we did that like fun. Over years we done that. Because I never found we house till the house come down. And the house come down as it was moved to Bloomswich.
That's when you went up Seven Road, was it? Wasn't it?
That was when I went up Seven Road.
That was just before the war then, wasn't it? Right.
Yes, it was before the war because I was married in 1930 and I moved up Blakenall in 1932. And I was just a month of having our better.
Yes.
And we had to move with my mother to Royal Street. And then the following week, I had to move from Royal Street to Walker Road.
That was a new housing estate then, that was, wasn't it?
In Royal Street, yes, but not the one in Walker Road. Not the one I found me. It wasn't a new one, but it was that house. Yes.
When did you...
Just when Boneyard Street started to be cut, that was.
Well, when they cut the new road through?
They cut it straight through.
Straight through?
Yeah. And our floss is on the very ground as my father used to dig for a garden.
Oh, it was allotments, was it there?
No, it was a garden.
Garden, yeah.
Yes. And it's practically right on the ground where my father used to dig. That is. Before Boneyard Street.
What did you do about Boneyard Street? It's at the back end where there was a tip later on in years where the tip was. But I believe that used to be all meadows with buttercups in it, and round the back of Boneyard Street where the river used to come. And all the children used to play over there. Used to call it
the Flame.
The Flame, yes. Yeah.
And there was a stream through it.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Well, yeah, I've seen a horse fetched out in the brook there.
Mm-hmm. But the water was very clear in them days.
Yes, it was clear water. It was clear water. But we used to go and paddle many over down there, will you?
Right up to Russell Crossing.
It used to go right up to the crossings. Sure.
And you could play in all them fields there in peace, couldn't you?
Yes. Yes, you could play rock play many hours.
And what's the fish in there? Tiddlers?
Yes. And tadpoles.
Tadpoles, yeah.
Oh, what? Used to take the net down, the jaws. Yes. I'll tell you another thing that used to go on. If the lads had, fallout with one of the kids in school, they used to come onto the field and fight it out.
Oh, on the Flame, that was Oh, they used to gather a circle round.
Well, I used to gather a circle round and they'd fight it out on there.
And all the girls would be watching it.
Oh, we'd have a go. Well, mind you couldn't get too near because, we weren't very old.
Yeah.
But I've seen many a fight down there. Cleared the air and that caused one another to go to school next morning. Oh, I've seen many a fight down there. And then fish and tiddlers and tadpoles. I've fetched many 1,000 out.
What about over Park Lawn? Which would they let you go over there, round the fields and the rushes? Did you go to play round there?
And now they don't used to play much round there.
We used to go walks.
Only walk, yes. Go walk round there.
Now Sunday night was a night for walking, I believe, wasn't it?
Yes, more or less.
I believe there'd be hundreds of couples floating about, going along over the fields, down to Gillity and that.
Yeah,
did you ever go on there?
Yes, many walk round Gillity, and there, yeah.
And I remember took part in this so-called monkey run as well in the town when they used to all walk up down.
No, you never.
You never were in that.
I never walked them straight.
But I like to
Well, they cried the Arboretum. But not like they used to do. They used to walk up and down. I'll go down one side and come up the other side. You know.
They'd do it all night long, wouldn't they?
Do till early hours in the morning. Well, I couldn't get involved in nothing like that because I should have to leave them because I always had to be in.
Yes, so.
Always.
They tell me now there's a lot of marriages formed through that monkey run.
I can't heard them saying that. But we've had some good times down on the plain. And we jumped the railway lines, you know, the railway things, and got and stood down the bank waiting for the trains to come by. On the
Talking about Stafford Street, though, some of the shops there, do you remember a Madam Sear, a fortune teller? Anywhere in Stafford Street?
No.
You don't remember that? There's 2 or 3 have asked me to find out about that and nobody seems to know.
No.
But there was 1 or 2 fortune tellers about.
Yeah, but the nearest one as I knew was Rochelle. Nearest one I ever heard, you know. But there used to be some beautiful shops down there. Pearson's used to be down there. They used to be on the corner of Littleton Street and Stafford Street, opposite the church. You know where the chapel is in Stafford Street, in Littleton Street?
Yes.
Well, on this other corner, there used to be a beautiful big shop there. 2 big windows. Because we were locked there for lots of our things. Places.
There's a lot of clothing shops, wasn't there, drapers?
Right.
Where you could...
Now was drapery and curtains and
Yeah.
everything they were.
And you usually used to have it a bit at a time.
Right. Yeah.
On a card, credit.
On a card, yes. Well, then that baby shop that's just closed, you remember the baby shop?
Yes.
Well, that's been there. Oh, donkey's years that had. I'd all had Betty's things from that shop. And now I love that shop's been in existence. Now I've knocked that blooming thing down
Yes.
now, haven't I?
Yeah. Do you remember going in Shoffrey's much at all?
Oh, yes. Shoppers. Mind you, that's like been made bigger. It's altered. It only used to be a little shop. One time, Shoppers had.
But did you ever go in Shoppers and you didn't come away with anything as that?
Oh, no.
That
I've got no need to go,
yeah.
But I'll tell you another used to be Craddock's, the key shop.
The key shop.
Used to make keys. He was there years. You wanted a key, could he? I'd always put your key.
But then chemist, you remember Bite, the chemist?
That
Bite.
based.
Chemist. Where they used to make any medicine up for you right away there. By where Provost is now.
Where the doctors is
Yes.
now. Yes. Used to have a big bottle in the window.
Yeah, you're right.
Yes. Hold on, to never do that.
Can you remember like Christmas time when in the town and the market, I believe it was quite a lot of displays in the shops, wasn't it, Christmas time?
Yes. Yes, it was all lit up, didn't it? And they, you know, if you went late, well, I'll say late, if you went like later on in the afternoon, they'd auction the stuff off as that got left. Meat and bread and stuff if they got any left, you could dance and drop it, you know, and let you have it.
Well, there's no fridges in those days, was there?
No.
Store stuff, so that
No.
too.
There was no fridges like there is today.
Sounds
It was all fresh, mate. All fresh.
That obviously make their money off the people that came earlier, who was probably the richer people.
Right, and yeah, then they could stand to lose a bit, like.
Yeah.
But I know I've been with my mother on a Saturday afternoon at town, and I only had £1 in the pocket, but we both gone back loaded up.
And probably a bit of change to spare.
And there's enough. Nice piece of meat, carrots, parsnips, cabbage, everything. We got it, we could help it carry it. So I mean, there were 6 of us besides my mum and dad.
And most of the carrying was done in, if I remember right, in wicker baskets, wasn't it? The baskets as you used to carry.
And a lot did that, but we always had a bag. Always had a bag.
Because you can get a good leather bag as well, couldn't you, in that?
Then
That's all leather, wasn't
leather.
it?
Yeah.
That wasn't this plastic material,
No,
was right?
no.
Or semi-leathers, artificial
Rubbish.
rubbish, yes, you got it, yeah.
If that clean the line, how it. But it's like Bucks Road and all round there. I mean, the houses was lovely. You know what I mean? It was all I wanted, really. They'd have renovated the houses up there. They'd have stood all these new houses out.
Yeah.
And I mean, there was things really did. I mean, we took a pride in our own then. What they do today.
Because a lot of them got stone floors, and now you had to scrub the floors, did you?
Well, more or less some did, but we always had lino down.
Oh, if anybody had lino, you was a bit better off, wasn't you?
But we always had lino down. But we had to scrub the stairs.
And that was bare boards, wasn't it?
That was bare board.
Stairs, was it?
Yes. But I couldn't afford lino to upstairs.
That stair carpet would be unheard of in
Oh,
1920s.
yes.
Unless it was in a posh house.
Posh,
yeah.
posh repair, you know. Yeah.
What about your bedrooms in the winter and all that? Was that pretty cold?
No, not too bad, really, Jim. No worse than we. I mean, you know. It's, of course, we done all our own painting and decorating and that. Then, you know, nobody done go. One of us had got it, well, one of the family had got to do that.
And if I remember right, the old sculleries at the back kitchen, I used to be all drinking whitewashed regular. It was a regular ritual with my grandma.
Yeah.
Whitewash, well, with my granddad to whitewash about twice a year.
God, that whitewashed and swelled out. Oh, Lord. And I mean, that would be ready to have the fire under the boiler for them to have a bath on a Friday.
Yeah, and for the washing as well, when you had the washing day, yeah.
Well, my mother used to wash on a Monday.
Monday, yeah.
And Friday, but, well, more or less, we used to make the bed on it, which night you got in there.
They even used to, the ladies used to get the soap suds and swill all the entries out, haven't they?
Oh, yes. Well, we used to do all the swelling and the fronts. The front used to be swelled every day.
Front step?
Yeah. Oh, you got to scrub the front step.
Yeah.
But you'd swell the path.
What they used to use on the steps now, was it pumice stone?
Pumice stone.
That'd scrape away the women would on their hands and knees, wouldn't they?
Oh. And this stone, you've got to. Now painting this front step. I would think it was a bit of oil. I've got a white step. Yeah.
So really, it was a bit of a status symbol, a good clean step, wasn't it?
Oh, yes.
Just tried to do it,
Yeah.
you know.
And your window ledges.
And the window ledges as well.
The ledges. Always going to do your window ledges
Mm.
when you don't use step.
And how many houses used to have astropedestrian in the window? Nearly all of them.
Oh, used to be a lot of hatred.
Well,
They died off, didn't they?
completely did die out, sister, yeah.
I know, though. I got one in there as I had given to me. And I don't know why, but I can't get it to go like it did.
What they used to.
Don't know why. I've got 2 shoes on it now. It doesn't seem to be moving. Why?
Do you think it's a change in the atmosphere these days, like we got gas fires and that?
Thought this. I thought this.
Maybe, yes.
I
Because nearly every house I went into as a child in the 1930s, there was nearly every...
Oh, you'd always got a nice great house for desperate trade.
And they had a special stand for them, didn't they?
Yes. And they used to do the leaves with a drop of milk.
What used to put milk on?
Yeah, and wipe them with milk.
What was that for, to bring the gloss
The
out?
gloss out. Bring the gloss out.
I've never heard of that.
Do you know? I've done it many times. Many times to have with a bit of rag. Dipped your water in your milk and wiped it over and then picked it up and wiped underneath. Especially in the winter. When you couldn't, when you didn't put them outside. Because your leaves would get dusty. Never do that.
Actually, I don't think, sis, as well, in the Alfred Run, usually most houses got a cellar as well, haven't they? And was the gas meter was down there as well?
Yes, down south.
Have you ever been down the cellar with the candle to go and put a penny in the gas?
No, I've never been down to the gas meter, but we had to go down for the coal in when I
Must be in Bud's in
Warwick
Street.
But when I lived in Mill Lane, you got to
So you haven't got a cellar there?
No, got a pantry.
Normally coal went down the whole
Oh,
front of the cellar, in front of the front window.
Yes.
And you got your gas meter down there as well.
No, gas meter used to be up the corner by the black gas stove.
Lying.
Yes, used to be by the gas stove. All black. You've got to do that every Friday. My mother and wipe it down every day. But you've got to sit to that on a Friday, polish it, get your face through it.
You just put black lead in little cubes.
Yeah. That and the grant. When you'd done that, you'd done your night's work.
Well, everybody was more or less the same, wasn't they?
Yep.
You got nobody trying to create an impression that one better than another.
No, it was all the same.
It's a good philosophy, that is really how to live anyway, isn't it?
And there used to be 6 families. And if you don't see them in the day, you'd be round at night to see what was the matter. Not today.
I don't believe like anybody went out, you'd have one of another's children.
Oh, yes. Oh, it's the kiddies was out like, and you'd just got to slip out. You'd go to the next door neighbour, and you'd say, when they come back, will you tell them I've got so-and-so, I shan't be long. They don't do that, don't do it.
What about the children playing in the street as well? They used to play in the street, skipping rope and all that. Scotch.
It used to be,
They had that.
It used to hopscotch. But I'll tell you another thing. When we drew the hopscotch, you didn't leave it on the floor when you'd finished.
Oh, you mean all the drawing?
On the
yeah. You had to swivel it down.
Well, you've got to wipe that off.
Otherwise the place would have you.
Oh, I don't know that place. I think my father wouldn't hear of me being left.
They'd allow you to chalk your hopscotch down.
Well, you could put your hopscotch down. You could play hopscotch. It'd stop there as long as you was playing. But you've got to go and fetch and dust a cloth or the mop. Wipe it. Sometimes it used to be a bucket of water with a brush. Swill it off.
Sometimes it'd rain and save it.
Oh, sorry, sometimes it did rain each time we do it. Yes, but I am listening the other day. You don't see them now, do you, with the top and with
Not at all, not
something
something.
round.
No.
Marbles, conkers. I mean, at one time we used to pass hours and hours with the
Tops and whips especially, wouldn't they? They'd be all day and going.
oh,
There'd all be little holes in the footpath, wouldn't they? Where you
that's where you put your
the
top,
yeah.
put your string on and yes, but you know, there's just a bundle of marbles in the middle and bomb out
Yeah.
and put your ring round it. What you got out of the ring, you know. But you don't need them. No.
And cigarette cards as well, playing cigarette cards, and you know.
Oh, yes. Cigarette cards. And many argument over because they wouldn't swap with one. You got two with the one and you hadn't got one, I say.
Yes, it's,
You'd have,
yes.
you'd have a few arguments till you didn't get one. But you'd get one at the finish. Wouldn't fall out over it like they do
No.
today.
What about they, sometimes at night, would they let you play under the street lamp?
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
As long as you was round that lamp.
but you didn't go far from the lamp, did you?
No. Not when the lamp was on.
And the kids used to swing on the lamp, hadn't they? Sometimes.
Oh, some of them used to, well, they used to pay my pal and that.
Yes. Oh, you tie a rope round it,
Tile. Couple of rounds. They used to go round it like that.
But the copper used to pay to visit a case.
So, I mean, if the policeman went to them and told them, don't step it up,
Mm-hmm.
don't do it.
And do it, wouldn't
I'd do it.
Yes.
You wouldn't back chat.
Mm.
Well, I mean, you'd let it go on for about a week or a fortnight.
And that start again.
Yeah, because
The
that
next
was
thing.
like,
Yeah.
yes. And, I mean, if you went anywhere and you say you had accident and broke somebody's window,
Mm. With a ball.
yes, you've got to admit it.
Mm.
You've got to admit it, because if you didn't, I'd find you out with the way they used to speak to it. And of course, no pocket money for a month.
Oh, is that how they used to do it?
Oh, well, no pocket
Your
money.
father would pay.
Oh, well, he'd say to it, he'd pay. But you've got to pay back. Don't have pocket money. Oh, no, there's pocket money, right? I'll always remember as well. It was in bed. Bang, bang, bang on the door. I looked through the window. All of a sudden, my brother shouted, "Oh, Mum, it's the policeman." So, of course, my dad jumps up. And my sister, "Where have they run?" So my mother turned round and said, "You know what's the matter with it, don't you?" I said, "I've paid that fine." For the bed. And from my brother not going to school. I didn't go to school. And he said, "Why ain't you?" "Because you ain't given me a cent to go and pay, have you?" And he round it. While he was saying this, he was getting dressed. Then he round. I took him. And it was early in the morning. And he round, my mother says to me, says, "Now, get our plus up. Give her, take your lunch to school, aren't you?" I says, "Because I'm going down to your granddad's." So I said, "It's going to granddad's for what?" I said, "I'm going to say if your granddad will lend me the money to pay the fine."
Yeah.
I said, "Because your dad won't have to go to work, will he?" "Well, he's got to go on at 6.
Yes.
So off there goes, and he rowdy get of the mother. Went biding, of course, I loosed him out. All later, my dad turned round and said, I wouldn't have cared a bugger if he had bought my pipe and tobacco.
And they kept him in all the...
They kept him in till it was paid.
Oh, so, yeah.
Well, my mother had to go borrow it off my granddad.
Just went on by her not sending somebody to school.
That, for not 11%, he was playing truant.
Yes.
That's really good.
Oh, he was buying truant.
Yes. And he's on playing truant.
But they actually kept him in the cell of Goodall Street, would he be?
Yes, yes. My mother went from Russia, Walsall Road, up Russia Street and paid it. When he got there, it was all 18. The basket was all put up, ready for him to go to work. And then Roddy said, all they said was, I wouldn't have cared if he had a rotten pipe and me tobacco. What my wish pipe and tobacco than he was thinking of anything else.
If they'd done that today, though, she's with the trouble now, the jars would be full.
Oh, to me, chock-a-block. Chock-a-block, it's a bird.
And also, he had a worry about losing his job, I suppose, wouldn't he, missing the...
Well, he was thinking about it, so because he was in the tube,
Yeah.
got to go to the crowd.
Yeah.
Had to walk it and all. Now, but he's there to go.
No,
Like, no, the trams. Used to walk it there and back. My father had. Many years away. There used to be a nice cloud shop and all at the corner of Atherton Street and Butch Road. Right opposite the Dusty Miller. Where that?
I know, yeah.
Colour,
Yeah.
right in that corner.
The corner there, that is.
Well, there used to be a lovely clothing shop there. And I always remember when my grandpa died, my mother was out shopping. Well, my dad came out and he says, are you going to follow your granddad on Monday? So I said, oh, now I think I should go to the cemetery.
Mm-hmm.
I went in and he turned around, he said, hey, he says, you go down to that corner shop, corner of Hampton Street. He said, I got a lovely costume in there. He says, it'd be all right with your white blouse, you'd look as good as the rest. So, of course, what did I do? Took the pound out and fled, because my father wasn't that gibbish at the time. And his owner goes down and tries his son to smash it. Right. Of course, I took it over. My dad was pleased, was more than pleased. And when my mother come back then, he gave me the pound out of my mother's ice cream money. Of course, my mother went drunk. And then she said to me, she didn't be that time.
Yeah.
Then she said to me, across the said, he gave me to go and fetch it.
No, you were surprised when he gave it you.
I was.
No, the...
In fact, I wondered whether he was drunk.
Yeah.
I didn't need that.
And when the funerals in them days there, was they mostly horse-drawn?
Horse-drawn,
Yeah.
yes, yes.
Up to Rycroft Road?
Up to Rycroft, yes. But,
Those marvellous horses, weren't they? All well groomed, black. They should lovely turning, weren't they? Yeah, yeah.
Oh, wow.
When you mentioned Butch Road, the Highland Street there, it used to flood a lot years ago, hadn't it? Did you ever remember any of the people living in them small houses? It used to flood out.
Dead mother used to do that.
Yeah. Terrible, wasn't it?
Paddling in that minute.
All the kids would go out paddling, would they?
And salad at the Dusty Miller. Oh,
Always flooded, yeah.
it's today.
Mm.
Oh, there used to be, Jack. Houses down the side like that, and then down to the railway. Then they used to come some at the back of them there, and you went down entrance.
What about the houses along Cecil Street and there? That was a bit on the posh side, wasn't they? Some of those. That was slightly cut above the rest, wasn't they?
Oh, they're beautiful down there. They used to. I mean, there was no better than me. I mean, the kids out to Cecil Street played with us the same as everybody else. And what's I was surprised when I went up there because it's foreign now, isn't it?
Yes, yeah.
And on William Street, the one side's knocked down. And then the houses in Butch Road, more or less, that made factory and offices on them, ain't that?
Yeah.
And yet it used to be nice.
Oh, the carriage has gone now with the butch, hasn't it?
Yes.
It's completely gone altogether.
Oh, yes.
And you think it's changed people, do you?
Oh, it has.
It's
Oh, yes.
most people endorse that. They say it's
Oh, it's definitely.
they broke the community, but it's changed.
Oh, they have. Yeah. Yes, that changed the community.
What do you think of some of the older people coming back in beds and saying all those big flats in the Butch and Tedsley Street?
What I'd seen.
And
What?
yeah.
See? And you've got a new way, Jack. I've wasted a hell of a lot of ground round there.
Yeah. You think though the old terraced house, there was no substitute for the terraced house for community spirit and relationships. You don't get it in a block of flats, do you?
No. No, you don't. Well, it's like this up here. I mean, all that used to have lovely little houses, don't you know?
In North Street,
Yes.
North Street, yes.
And they let it lie over. I mean, look at the ground they've left wasted there.
And nobody seems to dig the gardens today, do they?
There's no interest in gardening.
No.
I mean, where at one time we used to live in the garden really in the summer.
The dad would go to the club at night or the pub and always have a rouse in the sun.
It was always like housing. And then they'd, of a Sunday, you'd see them, you know, looking round, see, oh, I've got a matter bigger than that bed.
That have been a friendly rival.
Oh.
And the croissants as well, who got the best croissant.
The best croissant. And I always remember my father only had a small greenhouse. Only a small one, just beside. One side was chrysanthemums and the other side was tomatoes. But you couldn't go and get them.
Oh, you weren't allowed to?
No. You weren't allowed to go that greenhouse. Lock and chain on that. Lettuce, rhubarb, anything like that you could go and get. You couldn't go in that greenhouse.
You always had to have your rhubarb in the summer for your laxative, didn't you?
Oh, yeah.
That was a regular thing.
Little boys. Yes.
I don't think anybody makes them today, do they?
That's here. Never here. Yet I've seen my father with rhubarb that time.
About 2 foot high.
Yeah. And I've gone many a time and put some sugar in the paper and gone and sat on the flame and ate it.
Oh yeah, they used to. Your parents used to let you have a stick
Oh, yeah.
Get sugar in the piper.
Oh, well. Keep dipping your...
Get my bum out, there you are. I forgot about that. Do you, mate? I'd completely forgotten about that, wouldn't I?
Oh, menu. Thanks.
It doesn't taste it.
Yes. I'll tell you another thing we used to do. We used to get a couple of sticks of rhubarb, and then we used to chop it up. And you know, with the shape of it, then we used to wrap it in the sugar. We used to put it on a brick and weigh it, play shots.
Blimey.
Yes, we've done that many times.
So really, those happy days then?
Well, I enjoyed it.